What is the best strategy for beginners when it comes to the game of real estate? My name is Kris Krohn, and today I'm going to be talking about the big three, which means we're going to be tackling three of the biggest, most popular strategies that there are in real estate and really get down to the gritty nitty-gritties of which one is going to be best for you. Is it going to be multifamily real estate? Is it going to be single-family rentals? Or is it going to be flipping property? So let's go check out my trusty whiteboard here. And what I want to do is this basic comparison, flips, multifamily, rentals. And as we talk about them, let me make sure you first have some context on what all those are. First of all, for those of you that are new to the game of real estate, flipping is this game of I'm going to buy a property really low and I'm going to sell it really high. And it's really short, right? I'm going to do this for like 1 month, 2 or 3 months, and I'm going to see if I can make $10,000 or $20,000 or $50,000 on a single deal. Then you have multifamily. Multifamily is like, think high rises, think many families in one building, right? It could be a multifamily, it could be like a 12 unit, it could be a 20 unit, it could be a 150 unit. And the idea is I'm gonna do one property and it's gonna have several different mini apartments that I can rent out for money. And then lastly, you've got single family rentals, right? It's just reducing it down to I'm buying a home that I'm going to be renting out, and I like that one because I'm going to be renting out. I can buy something really small. It's not as big and scary. There's no flipping, this and that. That's where we really get into the pro and con of this. So now that you understand a little bit more about what these are, let's talk about the differences. So flips. If I'm going to buy a property, I'm going to flip a property. One of the things that you need to understand is that one of the big pros is that you have really big upfront money. I mean, if you successfully do one of these deals, someone in my private real estate community just completed a flip and he made $70,000. False, he made $69,800 and something dollars, right? He made $70,000 and he did all that in I think like a 6-week time frame. The pro is you got really big money, but if you're new to the game, there's also a certain level of risk that you need to be aware of. Because what if something goes wrong? What if you intended to make a $20,000, because 20 grand sounds great, right? I'm gonna flip this deal, I'm gonna make $20,000, but what if something goes wrong and the foundation has a bigger problem, or I miscalculated and I can't sell it for as much as I thought, and all of a sudden to get it off your hands, you're now 10,000 underwater. That happens to new investors, so you can make really big money, but you need to understand that there is some risk in that game. Let's talk multifamily, okay? Here's the cool thing about multifamily. This money that you get here on a flip, this is what I call upfront money. But here in multifamily, what you're gonna get is a really big cash flow. You're gonna get a superior cash flow. And what I mean by cash flow is it costs $10,000 a month to maintain my building, but I collect $15,000 a month, which means there's $5,000 in the gap. And that $5,000 comes to me when it's all done and said. So that can be a really big cash flow. But one of the negatives, especially if you're brand new, is that if you want to buy a really big building, guess what it takes? It takes a lot of money. These are multi-million dollar deals. And you might need $500,000 out of pocket. You might need $1 million. So if you're brand new, one of the cons is that it takes a lot of money. Now you might be watching this saying, I got a lot of money. But if you're like most people, or like when I got started with nothing, that's like, dude, I don't have 2 pennies to rub together, so that's not going to work for me. And then lastly, we have rentals. Now the game here on rentals is that rentals have the ability, if you hold single family homes long enough, they can really go up in value. And what it can produce is what I call a long-term gain, which means, hey, on this property, I might not get a whole lot of cash flow compared to a multifamily, like a big apartment complex. But you know what? When I go to sell that house, if I do it right, maybe I'll make 50 grand when it's time to sell it. Maybe I'll make $100,000 when it's time to sell it. And that can be exciting for some people. But you know what? One of the cons on rentals is that if you buy a home at market value and you rent it out, it often has a very small cash flow compared to multifamily. Look at these 3 strategies for just a moment. Flipping offers you the big upfront money. Multifamily gives you the every month big residual income money. And rentals gives you the long-term gains. If you were to ask me, Kris, of these 3 strategies, which one should I put my time and effort in? If I'm brand new, if I'm a beginner, and I really want to crush it in real estate, which is it, Kris? Is it flips? Is it multifamily? Is it rentals? None of them. They're all popular, they're all good. You can make money with all of them, But I do a little bit of a different strategy because I'm a little greedy, meaning I want it all. I want to have the upfront money, I want the cash flow, and I also want the long-term gains. And by the way, is there a way to do that while eliminating my risk, or at least severely reducing it? Is there a way to do it that doesn't even necessarily even require money as opposed to a lot of money? And is there a way to get an awesome cash flow instead of a small cash flow? There is a perfect solution. When I first got started in the game of real estate, I mathematically was evaluating not just these 3, but the top 30 strategies. And I was asking myself, which of all of these strategies is going to be best? And I would ask my mentors and people that were really successful in real estate. None of them could give me a clean answer. You see, every single one of them, they would say basically, well, this one has merit for this reason. And this one, like for example, flips. This one's good because it has good upfront money. I like rentals because it has long-term gains. And it's like, wait a second, that's not a good answer. There's got to be a best. I ended up writing a book about a special mathematical equation that I wrote, an algorithm. I dumped in the top 30 strategies and one emerged. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share with you what I would do if I were you, if you're a beginner, on how you can get the upfront money of flips, you can get a really awesome cash flow, and you can get long-term gains. I call it compassionate financing. It's a lease option with a twist. And here's what it basically means. What I'm doing instead with my special lease option system, I am buying single-family homes underneath the median that do offer me the long-term gains of a rental. But I'm not just buying a home and renting it out. I'm using a special contract, and I'm basically saying, I don't want a renter. I want a future homeowner. Did you get that? I want someone that wants to make this their home. They want to maintain it. They want to manage it. They want to take care of it, and they want to buy it. That person's going to give you double the cash flow. So now we picked up double the cash flow than we would have gotten here while still keeping the long-term gains. And finally, these individuals got to give you not just a refundable deposit or first month's rent, they got to give you a bigger commitment than that. It's almost like what you'd call a down payment when buying a house, because their intention is to make this home their own. So they're going to give you on average $5,000 up front as a down payment. You get that upfront kicker. So here's what it really means. It means that with my system, that by the way, you can click the link below and I'll tell you all about it. And if it's useful for you, get started with it. I actually mentor people. I have a private community where I help people do this because when you're brand new, you need help. Right now, I'm buying hundreds of homes personally every single year. I've got my wealth figured out. I was financially free at the age of 26, but I take a little bit of my time and I basically help those that really want to learn how to do this. I want $5,000 up front when I actually do this deal, because on average, that's what I collect. Cash flow, I don't want like a $100 or $200 a month risky cash flow. I want, on average, it's $500 a month. I mean, just imagine for a moment having $500 extra every single month. And then this last one, the long-term gains. When I go to sell this house, I'm making tens of thousands of dollars at that point. So $5,000 up front, $500 a month, tens of thousands of dollars. And here's the best part. This strategy, it doesn't have the risk of flips. It doesn't require a lot of money. In fact, I can show you how to do it with very little or no money at all, which is perfect for people like you and I if we're starting with nothing. And it has an amazing cash flow. So we're eliminating the cons, we're picking up all the benefits. And if I were a beginner and if I were you, that's what I would do. Like I said, the information's in the description and the link below. This is what I want you to understand. I got really insecure about society's game plan for me. Society basically said, Kris, go to college, work for somebody else. And I started going down that path, and then it didn't work out. And I got discouraged because I was like, man, society's not really going to help me. My parents told me that if I got a college degree that I'd be set for life and that a company would help take care of me. That is not what my experience was. It all hit me like a ton of bricks when I came home, and I was newly married, and I found my wife in tears because we couldn't pay the bills. For me, as a husband trying to be a good provider, it was a really sucky moment. I could have said, well, I'm in college, and even though I have this full-time telemarketing job, which sucks, I'm doing my best, but my best wasn't enough. It wasn't putting food on the table, literally. That's why she was crying. That's when I decided that I needed to have a game plan for my life, and what I'm really sharing with you right now is the game plan that I used on my first 25 properties in a 4-year period of time that bought me back my independence, my emancipation. I created a 6-figure residual income, and I quit my job just the same year I graduated from college. And my life has never been the same since. So I want you to understand that I'm not just sharing with you logical ideas for your consideration. I'm really sharing with you my life. I'm sharing with you what I did that created my financial independence, made a huge difference for me. And now I've created all this wealth and have made millions of dollars. And the way that I give back these days is by finding serious action takers, people that are committed, people that know they need a mentor, people that know they need help getting outside the system. And that's what I do. So it might be for you, it might not. If you're liking the video, I want to invite you to subscribe and watch more of these videos and let it be useful for you. But for those of you that are saying, oh my gosh, Kris, I can identify with that, right? I mean, especially in today's world, dude, we have been cheated. Society's been telling us what to do and it's not working. College is not producing what we want it to. And you fast forward 40 years and people aren't getting what they want. You got to take financial control of your own life. You got to take bull by the horns and you got to make that happen. But that doesn't mean you have to go it alone. I had mentors helping me out. And now I take some of my time and I help other people out. And if you feel like that really resonates with you, I want to invite you to click the link in the description below and let me share with you more about the details of exactly how this works. Talk to a member of my team, get the details, and let me mentor you and show you how you can make this happen in your life. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Make sure you are a subscriber. Click that link below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.